Round them up. Continued. Cliff wasn't concerned in the least. A student of Eastern philosophy, he'd been practicing meditation for years by now. He was good at sitting still, emptying his mind, basking in no thought. He'd always wished he could get Davy to try it, but Davy was just too ADD to sit still for more than 2 minutes before he was up and bouncing around like popcorn. Cliff's mouth twitched briefly before settling back in the blank expression of someone focusing on nothing. The 2 loud raps didn't startle him, but he did come out of his trance to focus on the doors that swung open, revealing the officer from the downtown Maine police station that had come to their house. Cliff tried to recall the name without success. He decided to just nod at the man framed in the doorway. He watched the patrolman come in, closing the door behind him firmly before sitting across from Cliff in a matching metal chair bolted to the floor. Everything was bolted to the floor. What there was in the way of furniture, at least. A small wooden table on a pedestal, 2 utility metal chairs on each side of the table. Just enough room for an average-sized person to sit sideways to the table, about 3 feet of extra space. Good thing Cliff wasn't claustrophobic. "Mr. Taylor, is it? How are you doing today?" "Yes, Cliff Taylor. I'm fine. I'll be better when this is done and I can get out of here. We were just getting ready to go on vacation, you know." So I heard, Farley nodded. "Tell me about your schedules. What's a typical day look like for you and Mr. Jones?" Cliff thought for a moment, then answered with a shrug. "I don't know. We don't really have a set schedule, so to speak. We own our business, we set the hours, and we can change them whenever we want, but usually we're up, have breakfast, and open the shop by 10 a.m. "Why? I still don't understand why we're here. Something about a red sports car involved in your murder case? Davy and I both own red sports cars. So do about 1 million other people in this area." Farley tilted his head, one eyebrow raised in silent query. 1 million? "You know what I mean. There are tons of red sports cars driving around Houston. Why are we here, though?" "Just answer the question, please, Mr. Taylor. What do you and Mr. Jones do during a normal day? You open your shop at 10 a.m. every single day?" "Pretty much, yes, within a half hour or so, but yes." "Really? That's a pretty casual way to run a business, don't you think?" "No, I don't think that. No normal business owner would. That's one of the benefits of being a business owner. Making your own rules, making it up as you go along, you know? Like living life in general? Or do you have to have a set schedule for everything that you do?" "Don't worry about me, Mr. Taylor. Let's just review this one more time, all right? Where were you last Saturday? What was your schedule on that day?" Cliff was taken aback. Why did the police want to know where he was on that day specifically? His thoughts raced for a second as he tried to recall what he'd been doing 5 days ago. "Well, if I remember correctly, that was the day I went to my mom's place. She'd had Alzheimer's. My sisters had been taking care of her. I usually drove up there every 4 or 5 weeks to help out, give them a break. That was what I was doing that day, last Saturday." "You weren't at home last Saturday?" "No. I mean, yes, I was home that morning, early morning, but I took off about, I don't know, maybe 8-ish. Cliff was starting to grow uncomfortable. There was something going on with these questions. He watched Farley jot something down in a tiny spiral notebook. "And where is your mother's place?" "Her house was here in the southeast suburbs, not far from the zoo, and this station, as a matter of fact." "Was? You keep using the past tense. Did she move?" "No. She recently passed on. It was a blessing, really. It's just hard sometimes. I'm sorry for your loss." Farley tried to inflect some empathy into the canned response. Cliff was underwhelmed by the officer's sympathy, but bit his tongue. "So, I was on my way to our attorney's office for the reading of my mother's will. Then I went to take a look at the property she'd given me in her will. It's outside Dumas, Texas." "I'm familiar with where Mr. Dumas is, Mr. Taylor." Cliff tried to roll his eyes. "I don't know what this is about, officer. I drive all over. I have a red sports car. So does Davy. We both do. We bought them separately, and his is the fancier of the two, but we're just 2 of however many people around here that drive red sports cars. I've told you where I was. where I was going, about what time I was going. What else do you want to know? Well, for starters, you can tell me when you left the attorney's office to go to Dumas. Now Cliff was starting to get annoyed. I have no idea. I wasn't looking at my watch or a clock. I was a bit of shock, actually, to tell you the truth. I didn't expect my mother to give me the cabin. Neither did my sisters. They had a lot to say to the attorney about that. I didn't stick around for the whole thing. I told the attorney to send me a copy of the will and to send a copy to my attorney, and then I split. I wasn't interested in refereeing my sisters' ongoing rivalry competition. They're always trying to outdo each other. My sisters are nuts. I don't think I was there for more than 20 minutes. I got to the attorney's office at 9 a.m. and probably left no longer than 9:30 a.m. He met Farley's eyes, willing him to be happy with that so that he could go. And about when would you say you arrived in Dumas? That's a pretty good distance to have to drive in one day. You sure you didn't stop along the way, or did you drive straight there from the attorney's office? I want the name and address of the attorney, too. Cliff's exasperated sigh said it all, but he answered the questions anyway. Anthony Beresford, 500 South Park Place. That's the attorney. My mom's attorney. That's his name and address. I don't know the zip code. That's fine. We can get the rest. What about the drive? One way or with a stop or two? One way. No stops. I wanted to get there as soon as possible. Why the rush? Not trying to leave Houston quickly. Cliff had had enough. Oh, please, get real. The attorney's office can verify I was there. I stopped at a convenience store about halfway to Dumas, a little dinky gas station. I don't even remember the name or where it was. The receipt is probably still in the bag. I got gas and some snacks, a soda. The bag's in the trash at the house. I don't leave trash in my car. I may not have a fancy Italian sports car like Davy, but I take care of my car. I keep her clean. Really? How often do you clean your car? Cliff gave the officer a longer appraisal. Listen, I don't know where you think this is going. Like I said before, the attorney's office can verify I was there, and the receipt for gas is in the bag at my house. You're welcome to meet me back at my house. I'll give you the bag. You can do your own sleuthing and verify from that. I'm done. I'm leaving. Any further questions, you can contact my lawyer. Where's Davy? We're going home. Now! Cliff uncrossed his legs and scooted back, looking as if he was getting ready to stand. He watched Farley glance at the mirror. The one-way window was obvious. Cliff knew there was at least one or more police officers watching everything from the other side of the wall. The whole space was beginning to feel tight and enclosed. Cliff stood up, his hands in his pockets. He was not going to shake hands with this idiot. Why did they send this guy to talk to him anyways? Cliff knew he obviously wasn't any real kind of suspect, or the police would have had some big muckety-muck give him the grilling. Glancing at the mirror window, he decided against waving, turned the handle to shove the door open, and just left. Where the hell was Davy?